What up, 12s? Norb here. About to go on air with Paul Beyer on 12 for 12s to talk about the Seahawks loss to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, first time to really kind of talk publicly about it, so we'll see how this all goes. Yeah, no, I'm good. Voice is a little raspy still from screaming so hard, but yeah, I'm doing fine. It's kind of therapeutic to talk about it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks.
I can't believe I'm cut Norb's great cut of "We Got Your Back" off there a little early, but we do have the man himself on the line. Norb Cowili, the famous NorbCam inventor, and really, I mean, almost national host of everything Seahawks, because you're everywhere now, it seems. Norb, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, Paul, I wish we could be talking about something else than a Seahawks loss, but I'm doing okay considering what's happened in the past 24 hours or however long it's been.
It's I'm with you. I mean, I hate even asking how you doing because that's a stupid question to ask. We're all doing pretty bad. So it's how we deal with this. I think it's going to ultimately define us. I know Pete Carroll mentioned that this morning. That's why I said I think everyone should take the time to listen to his interview with Brock and Salk this morning if you can. But before we get into all this, you know, I know that you went down there. I know you saw it, and yes, there was no ass kicking, but you saw us lose. You saw us lose in person, and it really had to still, the environment before that had to have been fun in some way, shape, or form. Why don't you start with, just tell us about your trip. Why don't you talk about the rallies, the different events that you attended. I know you had some sponsor stuff you were doing down there. I'm not sure if you got the Fan Fest, but if you did, I'd love to hear about that, and just the general ramp up to the game itself.
Okay, well, the trip was fantastic. Really, the whole experience was fantastic until that very last play. But to back up to the trip itself, it was great. I went with, it was a group this time. Last year it was me and my father. This time it was me, my father, Korea Burt, and then I also got to take my wife, Jen, and went with Pat Svoboda, my longtime buddy who I have the season tickets with, and then Mark Collins of Save Our Seahawks. He and I have become good friends just over this past season, and so the five of us made the trip down together. And yeah, we had a great time. I mean, we just we went down there on a Thursday, and just you know, each night we had a party to go to. So the first night we went to the Skeptical Chemist, I think is what it's called. We went to that bar the first night. Yep, it's Scottsdale. So we had a chance to, you know, hit up some 12s over there, and you know, it's like every Arizona. What I've gotten to know about Arizona is they know how to party down there. They've got some hot spots for the 12s that are off the charts. So that's just one of the many popular places that I know 12s like to congregate at. So it was fun to get to meet the people down there. And then the next two nights we were hitting the Casablanca's Lounge with the 12s for the Lady 12s event, the Joe Tafoya sponsored parties that he had going throughout the week. So we were there. We were actually supposed to go to three of them. We got kind of the 3-4 pass, but unfortunately on the last night, we were just so devastated we didn't go to the last party. But the first two were awesome. We got to see a lot of the super fans. A lot of them I've never even met, like Mr. Misa Seahawk were there, Cannonball. I mean, just a lot of those guys who I've seen and I've never actually met in person. So we got to hang out there, you know, kick it a little bit with them. And then just, yeah, the nightlife was fun. Just great music, some great bands playing, and just, you know, hanging out with 12s and, you know, talking Seahawks and just getting into the whole excitement of it. And so it was just really like a nonstop 12s rally all day long, each day. And so that was the nighttime fun. But during the daytime, was a blast too. Got to go to a couple of spots. Some of it was, like you mentioned, I did some promotional stuff for Louder Rewards, who has, you know, they kind of have this an app that is really geared for 12 fans, and they were doing some promotional things over at a couple of the bars down there in Phoenix. So I got to hit up 12s over there. Got to meet them, just, you know, hanging out, you know, just having a good time. And then the Super Bowl Central, where where all the NFL Network and all the the TV action that you saw while you were watching the lead up to the Super Bowl game. That was a blast. I mean, just they had the stages where the bands were playing. You can see the announcers. I got to see. I got a wave from Mike Robb, as he was in between takes, putting on his makeup, in the background. So just to see all that in person, and then just walking around, it reminded me a lot of last year in New York, but even more so, where it felt like 10-1. There were Seahawks fans outnumbering Patriot fans. I mean, they were just everywhere, blue and green. And so you really felt like, and we kind of expected it, more than I expected in New York, but we kind of knew going into Arizona it was going to be like this because, you know how it is, the West Coast now, and the 12's the way we travel. It didn't surprise me whatsoever. So, yeah, it was just, it was so great. And what really, really kind of surprised me was going down there and having so many 12s recognize me as NorbCam, and just excited to meet me and take pictures with me. I mean, they made me feel like a celebrity, and I'm still just Norb, a fan. But it really hit me that day because I mean, it literally was like hard to get from one point to the other without fans coming up and wanting to take pictures and stuff. But it was really humbling and really fun, and I was just so excited to meet everybody and meet all these fans, and just to know that they were so excited to share with me how my videos and what I've done over the past year and a half has really touched them and how excited they were. And so that was a real kind of surprise thing to all this, just to kind of get that in somewhere outside of Seattle, in Arizona, at a place like the Super Bowl where there's so many people, and yet so many people were coming up to me and making me feel loved that way. So that was really touching, and it was just great to share that with my wife and my dad and my buddies. So there was that couldn't have been better. Just such a great time, the party atmosphere, as we led up to the game.
Well, you mentioned the ratio of Seahawks fans, 12 to the Pats. Once you got to the stadium, game day, did that carry over? I mean, it seemed like it was very loud, especially at the beginning of the game. I felt like it was definitely a home game for the Seahawks, but I definitely heard the Pats fans as well. Did that ratio continue into the stadium? What was your thoughts on that?
It changed. It felt like, whoa, okay, maybe all the Patriots fans were hiding all this time, and suddenly they just showed up for game day, because suddenly I was like, wow, okay, this is not 10-1 anymore. It was more like, pretty even. It was like a pick'em type of game, so it definitely was a different vibe. Walking around, there were plenty of Patriots fans and plenty of Seahawks fans. So suddenly I was not like, okay, we're going to completely dominate the stadium. I thought, wow, I don't know where they all came from, but obviously there were a lot of Seahawks fans that I ran into, and they just didn't have tickets. So we had them 10-1 around town, but when it came to the stadium, it was a pretty evenly matched fan ratio, just like it was a pretty evenly matched game. I will say this, though, when it came to the actual, at least in my end zone, and I was in the end zone where the interception happened. I was in that end zone. When we were on, I was surrounded by both Seahawks and Patriot fans, and when the Patriots had the ball, we were on our feet. Soon as we could humanly possible stand up and start cheering and making noise, and we did it consistently every time. And I noticed that the first time we had the ball and the Patriots were, I was waiting to see what were the Patriots fans going to do. Is there really a difference between us and other fans? And they didn't stand up. I was like, these guys aren't standing up. It's really true. We are different from these guys. And they stood up on third down, of course, but everybody does that. But it was just cool to see how I literally saw the difference between what our fans were doing and what their fans were doing. I mean, they were just sitting down and just waiting for third down, then they'd get up and stand up, except during the most important moments, of course. But there was definitely just a mindset, a difference where we take it to the next level to try to, for the moment it starts, disrupt things. And so it was great to feel like we were still connected as a community, that the 12s were all, we were doing our very best to try to disrupt Brady as much as possible. Not that it really did as much as I hoped it would, but we definitely were doing our best to try to make it tough for him. And that's why my voice is kind of half gone still 2 days later. But yeah,
I've seen your selfie reaction. Obviously it's gone viral again. YouTube picked it up. I know you had a chance to be interviewed today by the AP. Why don't you go into talk about what that was like? I know that they can read what was said, but you also had that interaction with the ESPN piece a week and a half ago. What's this kind of sudden thrust into the limelight experience been for you as a fan that represents all of us? I think you feel that way. I know you've taken it on that way, but what's it been like for you in honoring, I guess, that link to all of us?
Well, Paul, it really has been, in much of the way the last few games have gone, how they've just been almost stunning development shockers, how things have ended up. It's been like this side story for me. The way this whole NorbCam thing has kind of blown up into the media has been a bit of a shocker for me, too, because I've just been doing the same thing I've been doing all year long. I feel like I'm Russell Wilson talking, one video at a time, one play at a time. But I really have. I've just been doing this every single game, and it just so happened that, starting with the Packer game, that video just really blew up because of the nature of the miraculous finish to that game, and then carrying it over into the Super Bowl, the complete contrast of devastation of a miraculous comeback that fell short. It has been, like I said, until I really saw it, where somebody told me, "Hey, I saw you on SI.com," and then suddenly ESPN calls me. It really just caught me off guard, because I've just been doing the same thing, and I don't think of myself any differently, really, Paul. I'm just been doing what I've been doing, trying to do as much as I can to generate excitement, share my thoughts, and share my experience from of the games and this season with everybody. And I just have to say I'm really grateful to the 12s and everybody, even the non-12s. There are people who are fans of other teams who have grown to really support what I'm doing, and I'm very grateful to all of you and to all of them who have done that, because I never planned this, Paul. This was never part of some big master plan to get onto ESPN or this kind of thing. It just sort of happened, and I'm just very grateful that it's been this way. And for people to call me like this voice of the 12s, it's a little weird to tell you, because it's again, it's not something I chose to aim for. It just seemed like it just evolved to that, and I mean, it's an honor that people think of me that way. I feel a little bit of pressure, feeling like the people are looking at me to be in that role. But I try to tell everybody, look, I'm a 12th man fan. I love the Seahawks. That doesn't mean I don't question what happens. That doesn't mean I don't question some of the calls or the decisions that are made. But I wholeheartedly believe in this team. I believe in the coaches. I believe in the players. And I'll be there thick and thin to support them and keep doing what I'm doing. So, but yeah, it has been a whirlwind, and it has been a lot of fun. I can't deny it's been a lot of fun to see how this thing has blown up. And I've definitely enjoyed the ride, both of this entire season and as well as what NorbCam has gone through and evolved into. I feel truly blessed to have been part of all this, and I cannot wait till next season, because I think we are in store for more great things, and it's going to be fun. I'm just enjoying this entire journey. It's been a total blast.
Well, I know we only have about 5 minutes left, so I want to have some time here to talk about the game, and again, just from my perspective, thank you. I know you and I have had contact now for almost a year now, since I found you after the Super Bowl video, and it's been a pleasure to be a friend of yours and someone in this process. So I think you just do fantastic work. And I think that's probably why everyone loves it so much, is that the work itself, there's passion there, but you also know there's value there. I mean, you actually bring something really positive to the table. So let's move on to the game. It seemed like the first half was really a one-sided affair when it came to how New England was doing so much good visually, the eye test, but the Seahawks obviously were able to tie the game up in the first half, 14-14, and you felt like, well, if this is as bad as we're going to play and we're still going to be tied, there's definitely good things waiting Second half, we took control. And then there were I'm calling it the four plays. There was the Jermaine Kearse dropped, pass on 3rd and 2 in the third quarter. There was the 3rd and 14 conversion by New England to not Amendola, but to Edelman. And then there was the what am I trying to think here? There was the Ricardo Lockett non-call pass interference on the trip, which I probably think was probably hard for you to see since you were in the stadium. But if you've had a chance to hear about it or see a replay of it, and then of course the final play of the game, really the final play of the game, and the call. Why don't you start with your ebb and flow of the game? What did it feel like for you being in there? And we'll ramp up and talk about that final play to end it.
Sure. I was with you with all those four plays. Actually, 3 of those 4, I did not really get a good look at the Lockett play. So that's the one I didn't feel the connection to. All the other 3 that you mentioned all stood out to me like, oh man, if we only had converted that pass, or oh man, if we'd only gotten that stop that gave them the momentum at that point. And of course, the final play. I'm with you that it comes down to these very, very key moments. But, it was hard to get a read on what this game was going to be like. From the beginning, I just thought, no matter what, I think it's going to be a close game. I predicted we would start slow again. We always do. And it just seems like that's been the pattern, and that would be the way we'd work it. And we would get into halftime, we'd make adjustments, and then we would pull away in the fourth quarter. And it seemed like that's how it played out. The first half pretty much went the way slow start, but then we kind of rose up and went punch for punch and were able to tie it. I was so proud of how the Seahawks were able to go down and score after Brady took them down and scored in that short amount of 2 minutes to end the half, and we come back to score in 30-something seconds to answer.
29.
Was awesome, because 29 seconds. That's, they always talk about championship teams score at the end of halves. Well, both teams did the same thing. So I was just thinking, man, this is going to be a battle to the end, and it was. So I thought, this is good. We're hanging in there. We'll make adjustments, and I thought we would do a little bit better job, with all those crossing routes that they kept killing us on, and obviously the injuries really played into things. Now, I didn't have the advantage of having the kind of updates, play by play what was happening. So I didn't catch the Jeremy Lane broken arm when it happened. I didn't catch the Cliff Averill thing. I just started to notice it later, like, why is Simon in there so much? Like, oh my gosh, Lane's not in there. So that's how it is when you watch a game live. You don't get to all the details. But so I know that the injuries did play a part on why our defense didn't do as good of a job, I think, as they probably would have if they were a little bit healthier. And obviously that allowed New England to catch up after we got a 10-point lead. I thought, a 10-point lead, we got there and it was feeling really good. We had a lot of momentum. And man, if Kearse makes that catch of that over his head rainbow throw, I think the game would have been over if we had then led to a score after that. Unfortunately, he didn't make the catch, and it just kept the door open for Brady to come back, and we just didn't quite get anything going on our subsequent possessions to answer. And I knew it was, and then of course they take the lead with just a couple minutes to go, and it led to the final drive. And yet, I was saying the whole time, I was like, well, would you want to have it any other way? This has been our entire season. That Super Bowl game encapsulated our entire season. Early adversity, fighting back. Of course, in this case, we got a bit of a lead, which normally we don't get. But we did, and then we faced adversity again, lose the lead, and now it comes down to, do we have what it takes to finish this game? And we have done all year long finishing drives. And unfortunately, this was the one drive we did not finish. And it sucks that had to be the final one.
I know you got to get going at 7:30, but
yeah, that's okay. I can go for a little bit longer, so it's okay.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to take you on. So just let's talk about the final play, okay?
Sure.
I saw your reaction. I've seen your selfie video, and I was literally saying the exact same thing. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. And I mean, was it just? I know what shock is. I've experienced shock before. I know from that past feeling of experiencing shock that it was how I was dealing with it at that moment in time. It looked like you were going through the same thing. Can you just go back to that moment and tell us what you were feeling? Like the utter, we're going to win this game feeling, and then seeing what took place?
Well, you know, it was that whole drive was you're already on pins and needles. You're already hoping, you know, you're praying to the football gods, please let us have, you know, let us get this, somehow make this, you know, drive to win this game in the most epic way of ways. And right away, boom, hits Marshawn Lynch midfield, and you're like, wow, okay, this is great. You know, right away we're in good position. We then hit a couple of incomplete passes, and now it's like third down. It's like, come on, we don't need it all. We just need a first down, and we get the first down. Lockett gets it by a yard. Okay, they're doing it. We got plenty of time. We get timeouts. We burn a timeout because we're running, and play clock runs down. That was frustrating, but still, we had plenty of time. Then the answer to our prayers happens in the form of this pass, this rainbow pass to, once again, to our hero of the Green Bay game. Jermaine Kearse goes up, this ball bounces off a very part of his body. Somehow he makes this catch, and none of us believe it. It's like, we all thought it was going to be an incomplete pass, and then suddenly it's like, what? The refs call it's a catch? No way! And so, complete disbelief, and then at the same time going, we're going to win this game. Prayers have been answered. We are going to win this game. There's no doubt now that we are the team of destiny. We're going to win this game. And maybe that was the problem. Maybe we all let up thinking we don't need to pray anymore because our prayers have been answered. But it felt like at that point, that's it. That turned it around. And I'm sure New England thought the same way. These guys are going to beat us. It's over, you know. And Marshawn Lynch gets the ball. He's tripped up. And I so wish he didn't get tripped up because he was so close. Hits the ball, lands at the 1 yard line. But you're going 1 yard. Second down. We got this. And I'm just saying to the camera, run it again, give it to him again. And, you know, because the clock's running, you can run this thing out and never give Brady a chance to get the ball with maybe a handful of seconds left. And then when I saw Russell drop back, my brain was like, what? And then the pass, and then I didn't see right away what happened. I just saw bodies crashing into each other, and I think it was actually more, I saw the reaction of the crowd around me that weren't Seahawk fans suddenly cheering, and then I realized that he came down with the ball, and I just, like the entire rest of the 12th nation, just could not believe it. I mean, could not believe it. It was like, what? Why were we throwing the ball? It was my reaction, and I know everybody else had the same reaction too, because it just felt like Marshawn Lynch had almost single-handedly, with him and Kearse had single-handedly brought this team down here to be in this position. And why would you not give him that chance to complete it, you know? And here we are, talking about, you know, what should have been, could have been. So depressing, man.
I thought it was great, actually. Well, nothing was great. What am I trying to say? I thought it was justifiable that your dad was there. You know, and the first thing you did, you know, I mean, your wife's there with you and Mark's there, but as a father's son, the first thing you did was turn to your dad, you know, and you know, you could tell that you were just, it was dependent, like, I can't believe that just happened, Dad, help me, you know. Even though we're older adults now, there was still that bond. I thought that was a really cool moment and something I saw, I picked up in the video. But I know you got to roll, and I got my next guest coming on, but I'll tell you what, it was great. And, you know, for everything you've done for us as Seahawk fans this year and last year, just thank you again from all the 12s. If I can say it here, I'll say it right now. And then just keep doing what you're doing, brother. It's all just fantastic work. Your songs are unbelievable, and the work you put in does not go unnoticed. So thank you, and you know, just again, a shout out. Let everyone know where they can find you. Not that they need to know, because everyone does know, but why don't you go ahead and share that with everybody before you head out for the night?
All right. Well, probably the easiest would just be NorbCam.com, and that'll just take you where you need to go. But yeah, I thank you, Paul, because you brought me on very early on when things were still kind of at this blossoming level. I just want to say that, you know, this will sting and haunt us forever. I hate to say it and sound kind of doomsdayish about it, but that's what sports is like. This iconic play will never be, I will never get over it. I will think about it till I'm 90 years old. But that being said, I still have hope for the future. I'm excited about this team, and like I said earlier, I believe in what they're doing and that we can get back there again. And so I'm looking forward to next year, and I'm total 12, total Hawks fan, always will be. So let's do this thing. Go Hawks.
Norb, thank you so much, buddy. And take care of yourself, and we will be in touch, my friend.
All right, Paul. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it a lot.
You bet. That's Norb Kawili, everybody. NorbCam, famous, the man with the plan, the guy that gets it done weekly, filming his reactions during games and then giving them to you, as well as just putting out fantastic music videos, the Rivals videos, everything, just awesome stuff. So follow him at NorbCam on Twitter, on Facebook at NorbCam, also at Norb Kawili, and then obviously online, NorbCam.com. Check it all out. His videos, YouTube, Vimeo, fantastic stuff.
Thank you for watching NorbCam. To subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the button at the top. To watch the Miracle at the Clink NFC Championship win versus the Packers, click the video on the left. To watch my reaction to the Super Bowl Heartbreak final interception, click the video in the middle. To watch the season finale of Rivals, The Power of the 12s, click the video on the right. And check out NorbCam.com. Thanks for watching.
Go Hawks!